Okay, so obviously this is a few days after Wrestle Dynasty. Uh, you know, had to try to squeeze it in. Yeah, and I had to spread these out over a few days. So I understand that my notes, I might be referring to my notes just a little bit more than usual, just to kind of refresh my mind a little bit. Because again, I didn't start watching this until Tuesday. So, no, Monday, my mistake. Today's Tuesday. I'm recording this on. Um, yeah, so like I said, I had to split this up into a few different viewings just to kind of get through everything. We started things off with a four-way match for the International Women's Cup between Momo Watanabe, Willow Nightingale, Persephone, and Athena. Right off the bat, everyone squared off a little bit. Athena flipped Persephone out of the ring right after the bell went. Willow hit Momo Watanabe with a rack attack. Athena then lay into Persephone with several moves. At one point, she and I believe she and Persephone teamed up on Momo Watanabe and did a lariat into kind of a sunset flip type maneuver. Willow Nightingale hit a Death Valley driver into the corner turnbuckle. I believe it was on Persephone. I have a lot of notes on Persephone for some reason. Persephone dodged a cannonball, hit a plancha to the outside. Persephone whipped Athena into pounce from Willow. Again, they didn't really do much teamwork in this. It's like it was more inadvertent teamwork. Nightingale did hit Watanabe with the DVDE Death Valley driver. Athena then hit, I forget what she calls her finishing maneuver now. I'm used to it being called the Eclipse, the kind of twisting stunner off the top rope. She hit on both Willow and I believe, was it Persephone or was it Momo? I may be wrong on that, but as this happened, Watanabe regained enough consciousness to attack Athena with a baseball bat. The ref was distracted, I think, Momo's manager, whose name I did not catch, distracted the referee, and that enabled Momo to attack Athena with a baseball bat and hit a European exploder suplex for the 3 count of the victory. Kind of an okay match. Again, it was a lot of let 2 people be in the ring at a time. It was rare that you saw all 4 competitors in the ring at the same time. And it was, like I said, if there was any teamwork, it was more like inadvertent. It's like, I'm throwing this person into the corner. Oh, no, wait, they got caught. And it was just, it seemed a little clunky. Like, I'm guessing 3- and 4-way matches are not something custom to Japan, or at least New Japan. After that, we had the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match. The Sons of Texas, that's Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, versus members of the House of Torture, that's Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Sho. Right off the bat, they're doing the belt presentation. They take the belts, they show the belt, they show them the opponents. The House of Torture spit on the championships. Guevara hit Sho with a nice flying crossbody. Kanemaru whipped Guevara into the ring barricade, while Stowe began taking off one of the big turnbuckle pads. Both members of the Sons of Texas got whipped into the exposed turnbuckles. Sho stomped on the belt in front of Guevara. Eventually, Dustin Rhodes got the hot tag, hit a big power slam on both members of the House of Torture. Kanemaru then sprayed a whiskey mist into Rhodes' face and hit a moonsault. However, Guevara got in, hit a cutter on, I believe it was Kanemaru, allowing Dustin Rhodes to hit the Canadian Destroyer and then the Final Reckoning, to which Guevara then added the Swanton for the 3 count of the victory. Decent match, very reasonably paced. I didn't quite get over I don't know, the crowd really did not seem into it. Again, I just kind of wonder, if we're having Ring of Honor titles on an AEW/New Japan show, and there was no real build for this match, just kind of happened. And again, it's one of those. It was an alright match. I think they worked it pretty well. They told a decent little story, but again, it didn't really feel too consequential. After that, we have moved to the show proper, And we start off with the CMLL Lucha Gauntlet match. Basically, the way this works is competitor comes into it kind of works like a casino gauntlet in AEW, where a competitor comes into the ring every few minutes. I think it's every 2 minutes, 2 to 3. However, the match can still end on a pinfall or submission before all the competitors are in the match. So the first two were Hechicero and Kusei Fujita from TMDK. Then there was Sabanero Jr. and Master Wato were the next two out. Sabanero hit both men with flying maneuvers when he got into the ring. That's Fujita and Hechicero. Then, let's see. They all attacked Fujita after that. They got into like an inverted crab and a guillotine leg drop. Eventually, I'm trying to think of it. After that, we had Mascara Dorada, Tosi Ishimori, and Titan, and El Desperado was the last entrant in. We'll get to him. Mascarada is a big high flyer in this. He came in, he hit a corkscrew head scissors on Sabanero Jr. Ishimori hit Dorada with a handspring cutter, and then a sort of a label lock type maneuver. Eventually, El Desperado came out, and it seems like I think they're trying to play the idea that he intentionally hurt Doki at Wrestle Kingdom, and won this championship via a fluke. And so and of course, him being a champion immediately made him the #1 target, so much that he got attacked on the ramp. Everyone ganged up on him. They got him into the ring. They all started hitting like finishing maneuvers on him to basically render him unconscious. Then they all started attacking each other. At which point, like I said, it's not an elimination gauntlet, so only one pin can win. And they realized, oh wait, we can't decide who gets to pin him, so they all started fighting again. Desperado was unconscious pretty much the entire time. Finally, I believe it was Fujita got in there and put El Desperado in a submission hold and seemed to be getting away with it until Ishimori broke the pin up and kind of got El Desperado into a roll-up position to get the 3 count and the victory. It was kind of fun. Like I said, to get the last entrant in and have him just be have everyone turn their focus to him and attack him. And it's like, is it because he's a champion? Is it because they're kind of blaming him for what happened or how he won the championship? But there is kind of this, it was a little bit of a definite hostility to him that I don't think is normally reserved in these types of matches. I did think it was kind of funny. And like I said, once that happened and everyone started hitting these maneuvers on him, and then they suddenly goes, oh wait, only one of us can actually pin him. So they got into that fight, and all the while it's like he's sitting there completely unconscious. It was like, I'm waiting for someone to get involved. So like I said, it was fun when that part picked up. Very entertaining, and it definitely brought up a lot of interest. Again, this was not for a contendership of any kind, so I don't know what exactly is going to come of this, except, of course, maybe Ishimori winds up challenging for the light heavyweight champion, or the junior heavyweight championship, if that happens. And that leads us into our next match, and I use that term very loosely. It's Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Katsuyori Shibata. Basically, this has got limited down to a 5-minute exhibition match. The reasoning in storyline, I guess, maybe it's overall too, is New Japan will not clear Katsuyori Shibata because of the subdural hematoma he suffered, so many years ago. He's never been cleared to actually fight in a New Japan ring since. Even though I think he's had a match for Pro Wrestling Noah, another organization in Japan. And of course, he's obviously fought here in the States. He's worked for AEW and Ring of Honor. So it's entirely possible that, again, I don't know if it's necessarily a New Japan thing. It's just maybe, hey, we cobbled this together at the last minute. We don't really want to put you in a big, heavy match. Or the exact nature of this. But yeah, it's a 5-minute match where they can't really do much. It's a lot of waist locks and head and chops. Tanahashi and Shibata did engage in headbutt strikes. They started chopping each other again, and then time expired, and they did one last handshake and embrace. Obviously, If you can't recall the previous review, Tanahashi. This is Tanahashi's last year, so yeah, it was this is our last fight. So let's just give him one last old fight for the road type deals. Like I said, it was fine. Again, if you were wanting a big marathon, obviously you weren't going to get that, but still, I do think that, you know, for what it was nice. It was a nice little send-off, for lack of a better term. Okay, our next match is the Strong Women's Championship versus the Rev Pro Women's Championship. That's Mercedes Moné and Mina Shirakawa. Both women have belts with other promotions as well. Obviously, Mercedes Moné is AEW TBS champion. I don't know what Mina Shirakawa also owns. I think it's a Stardom championship. I may be wrong on that, but this is strictly for like the Strong Women's Champion, or to be more precise, the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, and Rev Pro, which is a British organization. The Strong division is their New Japan's American division when they run shows in America. Like they ran a weekly show that was on AXS. I don't know where it's going to be now because I think AXS just dropped it. So, but yeah, when they run their American-based shows out of their American-based dojo, that's how that works. Right off the bat, both women landed a couple of drop kicks. Moné attempted a statement maker. Shirakawa got to the ropes. Shirakawa hit a dragon screw off the top turnbuckle. This made Mercedes Moné start selling a knee injury. Shirakawa targeted it. Moné fought back a lot. She would hit a lot of meteoras, which further injured her knee. She tried to go for, she would hit a code breaker or a backstabber as well. Moné cowered her Urdak, a spinning back fist into the Moné maker. She tried to hit it, but she couldn't. But her knee buckled. She couldn't quite get up to do that. She did manage to hit the three amigos. Did a frog splash. Shirakawa came back, hit a DDT off the top rope, locked on a figure four leg lock. She fought out. Moné fought out of that. She tried to go for the Moné maker again. Shirakawa fought out of that and hit a. Let's see, what did I write? She hit a pile driver of some kind, I think. I can't quite remember. I can't read my notes, I'm sorry. Moné then came back, hit two code breakers. Shirakawa, countered another Moné maker into a figure four, but Moné fought out of that, finally managed to hit the Moné maker and get the 3 count for the victory. She is now, Mercedes Moné is now AEW TBS champion, New Japan Strong Women's champion, and Rev Pro champion. I can't remember if it's British Heavyweight Women's Champion or Women's World Champion. So sorry, any Rev Pro fans. I'm not trying to belittle your company. So just, it's hard to keep track of all these things. But yeah, I think this officially makes her a belt collector now. So that's definitely going to add some interest to this. It was strange because I would almost argue she's trying to play a babyface in this, even though she's still doing the CEO gimmick that's obviously a heel pretty much everywhere else. And so I don't know what they were trying to do necessarily here, but yeah, like I said, Mercedes Moné is now basically a belt collector. All right, and that leads us into our next match, which is David Finlay Jr. versus Brody King. Obviously not for the IWGP Global Championship, as Finlay lost that at Wrestle Kingdom. King, right after that, hit a big boot, but Finlay hit a drop toe hold into the turnbuckle. Finlay clotheslined King out of the ring. He tried to hit a spear into the ring barricade, but King dodged that. King came back and a crossbody into the barricade. King literally threw Finlay from pillar to post after that, kept throwing him across the ring back and forth. Finlay eventually raked King's eyes, tackled him into the big King barricade. King came back at a lariat and a pile driver. King hit a Death Valley driver into the turnbuckle and a cannonball. Eventually, Finlay managed to fight back as they were on the turnbuckle. He had an electric chair off the turnbuckle, and then followed that up with a powerbomb and a brainbuster for the 3 count of the victory. Overall, very entertaining match. This was definitely, even though I don't know if I would necessarily classify David Finlay as a hoss, this was definitely a hoss match. It was definitely hard-hitting, we're going to just beat the living snot out of each other, and you're going to have fun watching it type match, because it was really fun and enjoyable. I do think this was definitely one of the better matches on the show. Like I said, very impactful. Again, I think the idea they're going with is Finlay does not believe he lost his championship and thus still thinks he's the champion, but I don't know exactly what they're trying to do with this. Again, part of the problem with the co-branded shows is that you get these matches that are supposed to be cool interpromotional matches, but then they have no heat behind them because there's no story behind them. And it's just like Brody King encountered David Finlay once and he wanted to fight. And so sometimes it would be kind of hard to get into things there. But overall, like I said, this was a very entertaining match. Okay, our next match is Shota Umino versus Claudio Castagnoli of the Death Riders. If you don't know the backstory here, John Moxley, a couple of years ago, took Shota, when he first did his big tour of Japan, took Shota Umino under his wing. However, when Moxley began to act as his more aggressive, now Death Rider persona, Umino got turned off and decided to basically back away from him. And now it seems like Moxley is sending the Death Riders after him, and we're setting up some type of face down between the two. I don't know if it'll be at Forbidden Door, because that's in August, but, maybe. Anyway, Umino hit a big drop kick. Castagnoli, blocked a big plancha and dropped Umino onto the ring barricade. Castagnoli shrugged off a forearm shot. He got hit with 2 DDTs after that, however. Umino then hit the coast-to-coast missile drop kick, and Castagnoli did a gorilla press slam off the ropes and followed that up with a big lariat. He did the swing for about 20 times, put on a Scorpion Deathlock. Not a sharpshooter, Scorpion Deathlock in Japan, yeah. Umino came back, hit a Tornado DDT off the top rope, and then a hidden blade. Castagnoli came back with a Ricola Bomb. He went for the neutralizer, but Umino countered that into a Death Rider for the 3 count of the victory. So, yeah, again, obviously I think they're trying to do a build to Shota Umino versus John Moxley. I don't know if it would be for the AEW Championship or not, but it's the idea is, I think, Umino's going to have to go through each of the Death Riders. The one tiny problem is the crowd still is just not... I think they're trying to get the crowd behind Umino. They're trying to do this story where he's obviously kind of gotten humbled, if you recall what I was talking about last year. In the last video with his match with Zack Sabre Jr., the idea that, he was a little too braggadocious, he stepped out of line, and, now he's kind of been humbled. He's trying to build himself back up, and to go through the Death Riders and then have a match with John Moxley would make a bit more sense. Again, I don't know. I mean, the one thing is, obviously, Moxley's currently AEW champion. Don't know when they're planning on having him lose that belt. Like I said, that's an AEW story for a different time, obviously. But again, it's definitely building into something interesting, I think. Okay, so our next match is a match for both the AEW International and Never Openweight Championship between Konosuke Takeshita and Tomohiro Ishii, sorry. Big striking match, obviously, in this one. Again, technically, this was originally supposed to just be AEW International title, but with Takeshita winning the Never Openweight, it became both belts being on the line. Both men shrugged off a lot of strikes until Takeshita landed a very strong forearm, followed by a big elbow strike. Ishii came back and chopped to Takeshita's throat. They got to the outside, Takeshita countered a sliding lariat into a big German suplex. He hit the Blue Thunder Bomb. Again, this is a very hard-hitting match. Takeshita hit a Raging Fire Falcon Arrow off of the second rope. She shrugged off a package driver and a German suplex, hit a big lariat of his own. He hit a top rope Frankensteiner. He went for a brainbuster, but Takeshita managed to counter out of that, hit a Poison Rana, and then hit the Raging Fire Falcon Arrow. The Raging Fire Falcon Arrow for the 3 count of the victory. Again, this was a great match. I again, I'll probably get to the other really big match just a bit here, but obviously this could easily be a contender for match of the night on any other type of show. You know, just the way they told the story, and again, you know how Takeshita is just rocketing through the ranks of pretty much all professional wrestling at this point. He is a guy that I think AEW is going to have to start looking and pushing into the world title picture pretty soon. I think he's just he's on too much of a mission. He's on too much of a roll right now. The crowd in Japan was definitely behind him in this, so it is kind of strange that he's supposed to be a heel. But yeah, it's definitely very entertaining, very hard-hitting, definitely a great match. And that leads us into the three-way match for the vacant IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Or I guess they're just Tag Team Championships. I'm never sure. Because there's the IWGP Junior Heavyweight. Anyway. This is for the regular Tag Team Championships. Great Okan and Jeff Cobb of the United Empire. Naito and Takahashi of Los Ingobernables de Japón. And the Young Bucks of the Young Bucks. Basically the story is the United Empire had it. It was Great Okan and another wrestler, Hamari. Hamari got injured, so they had to forfeit those, but they were allowed to compete in this match to try to get them back. LIJ won the World Tag League for the #1 contendership, and the Young Bucks just kind of barged their way in, and so a lot of people are not particularly welcoming to them. This was Tornado rules, so there were no tags. It was just all the men kind of fighting at once. The Bucks hit a nice senton neckbreaker on Takahashi, and initiated a super kick party a few times. Cobb came in, hit a big flying knee to Tetsuya Naito. Nicholas Jackson got both members of Los Ingobernables de Japón and Northern Lights suplex. Great Okan broke up a pin after on Matthew Jackson. Okan broke up the pin after Takahashi hit a time bomb. Cobb came in and blocked the EVP trigger on a super kick from both Bucks. Nicholas talked Takahashi into working with him on doing a big superplex on Cobb. Okan broke up the pin again as they hit the EVP trigger on Tetsuya Naito. However, Okan then got hit with a couple super kicks of his own, and then the Bucks hit, I want to call it the TK driver or the Meltzer driver. I don't know what they call it in Japan, but they hit their flipping pile driver finisher for the 3 count of the victory. So the Young Bucks are now IWGP Tag Team Champions. Since they're when they're going to be making their big return to AEW, they're supposedly supposed to be doing this as baby faces in order to, again, counteract the Death Riders right now, but who knows? Sorry, the phone went off. Anyway, like I said, who knows? So I don't know if this is going to be a long reign or a short one, if they're going to wind up dropping. They're facing Roppongi Vice, I think, and Showdown for the Valley, which is on Saturday. And I'm not covering that show. I've got way too much stuff to try to get done. Anyway, they're facing, I think it was Roppongi Vice, but of course, 2 members of Roppongi Vice are also on AEW, so I don't know where exactly they're going to go with this. I guess it's enough to get kind of a pop from the crowd a little bit, some buzz on social media, for lack of a better term, just to, maybe make sure everything gets set up nice. I'm not entirely sure, but like I said, it does lead to some very interesting ideas. And after that, we had the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship match. Yota Tsuji versus Jack Perry, the scapegoat. During the presentation of the belt, Perry grabbed it and started celebrating like he'd actually won it. Tatsuji came back and hit Perry with a kind of a head scissors into a face buster type maneuver. It's kind of hard to describe. Basically, he jumped up, he got him in the sort of tilt-a-whirl head scissors, but then he managed to swing his legs down and spiked Perry face first off the mat. Perry drove Tsuji into the barricade with a nice flying forearm to knock him that way. Perry came back, hit a float-over suplex into a sleeper hold. Tsuji came back, hit a big boot, and followed that up with a gut buster. Perry broke up a Marlowe stomp. Tsuji hit the Sakura Stomp and then followed it up with an attempted superplex, which he then had to modify into a Spanish Fly as Perry was trying to fight out of it. Tsuji went for the spear, but Perry countered that with the glass jaw jumping knee strike. Perry went for a jumping DDT. He hit a low blow as the ref got distracted. He then hit a jumping DDT. He went for another glass jaw knee strike. Tsuji countered that, hit the spear to get the 3 count of the victory. No real surprise here. I mean, Tsuji just won the championship. Why would he lose it the next night if they're trying to push him as something, as again, the next new ace of New Japan, or one of the next new aces? They're definitely trying to push him as a... the announcers were comparing him to Shinsuke Nakamura, so you can kind of see maybe what they're trying to do with him there. Although he's in Los Nobles de Japan, so you think they would compare him more to Naito, but who knows exactly what they're trying to go for there. Like I said, overall, a decent little match, but maybe just a little too predictable for its own good. And that leads us into our next match, the match of the show. Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd. Omega obviously coming back from his diverticulitis bout. This is his first match. Big match overall. He's returning to New Japan because he felt like he needed to pay the company back. And then the English New Japan announcer went into business for himself and kind of ruined it for everyone. I understand maybe what he was trying to do, but unfortunately I think he ran into the problem of he did not get approval to do this, and, you know, like I said, I guess went into business for himself when he really shouldn't have. Right off the bat, both men exchanged some chops. Omega hit a nice moonsault from the second rope. Kidd hit a chop to the throat and then suplexed Omega out of the ring. Omega hit a drop kick through the ropes. At some point, Kidd set up a couple of tables on the outside of the ring, tried to set it up for Omega to go through them. Omega came back, powerbombed Kidd through those tables, and then hit a big swanton to the outside and began selling a possible hip injury. Kidd came back, attacked Omega with a couple of chairs. They started throwing chairs into the ring. Kidd hit a brain buster on a table on the outside. Omega started bleeding at this point. They got back in. Omega hit a flying head smash onto a pile of chairs. Kidd came back and a superplex onto those same chairs. Both men just started wailing each other with chairs to the head, which I did not like. We shouldn't be doing that anymore. I thought everyone had learned their lesson. I do not think that that's appropriate for a wrestling match anymore. Omega then came back, hit 2 V-triggers, but then Kidd came back and hit a big lariat. Omega hit another swanton to the outside. He hit a corner V-trigger, a Snapdragon superplex. Omega attempted the one-winged angel, but his knee buckled. Basically, he buckled at some point. They're basically selling it as the aftermath of the diverticulitis. That enabled Kidd to put on the flying octopus hold. Kidd hit a running knee and a pile driver, but Omega popped up, hit a V-trigger and a power bomb, and then eventually hit the one-winged angel for the 3 count of victory. No summary could do this match justice. It's one of those, you probably have to watch it for yourself. Like I said, if there is, unfortunately, the takeaway is the very unnecessary bashing, in a co-branded show of one company over yours. Again, then I've seen. I get the idea that the announcer was trying to support New Japan and say, "Hey, we've got the best wrestlers in the world. The best wrestlers always pass through here, and that's fine." But then he started, mocking the New Japan guys who left for AEW, and it's like, why? And he's like, "Well, look at Jay White and Kazuchika Okada. What did they do?" And it's like, well, Okada won a championship and then successfully defended that championship in a tournament, in a round-robin style tournament. And, Jay White just had a match for the top championship in AEW. I mean, yeah, he lost, but he still had a match. He's been, he's now considered something of a threat in that division. So, yeah, I just don't really get it. The Young Bucks, again, I know they worked in TNA and Ring of Honor, but Yeah, like, that was, I think, just unnecessarily distracted from the match. And I would also say, again, the unprotected chair shots. Sorry, that's just a no for me. We live in a world where we know the dangers of concussions. Pretty much every major wrestling company has banned them, and for good reason. And to still do anyone is, you cannot justify it in my book. Sorry, even if it's it's just once in a while, that's still bad. Yeah, so again, that's unfortunately my one real takeaway from the match. It is still a match tonight. It was still a great match, but again, just those things kept me from truly getting a full amount of enjoyment out of it. And that leads us into our final match, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match between Zack Sabre Jr. and Ricochet. Ricochet immediately kicked Sabre off the apron during the intros. He had a springboard 450. Sabre came back, tangled Ricochet's ropes in the ring, and then kicked him. Sabre put Ricochet into kind of a figure 4 leg lock, almost a knee bar. It was kind of hard to describe, but he basically, he did the spinning toe hold and then also kind of pressured it with his other foot and pushed so that I'm not flexible enough to do it. As Ricochet was in the figure 4, it was more of a standing maneuver. Ricochet did come back, hit a handspring elbow. Ricochet fought out of a sleeper hold and did kind of a DVD into the turnbuckle. Sabre avoided a spirit gun, hit a European uppercut. Sabre came back with 2 dragon suplexes. Ricochet then hit a series of brain busters. Sorry, the phone went off. Anyway, Ricochet hit a series of brainbusters, one in the ring, one on the apron, one on the outside of the ring. They had basically rolled through the ropes. Sabre came back. He put Ricochet in the top rope armbar. Sabre hit a Zack driver from the second rope. He locked on another arm breaker. Ricochet fought back, hit the shooting star press, and inverted death drop DDT. He went for the 630, but Sabre avoided, hit another Zack driver. Sabre then countered a spirit gun into the Rings of Saturn hold, and Ricochet gave up. Again, a very nice little match. I think, again, the announcer went to his business for himself again. Again, kind of distracted a little bit. I do think this was a much better match than the 43-minute one at Wrestle Kingdom. This one was about 5 minutes shorter. I think it had a lot more impact. Again, there were times it maybe looked like Ricochet. It was a little predictable, but there were times it looked like, maybe Ricochet could do something. Again, Ricochet is definitely full-blown heel now. He is really good at working this. I think he's actually been. This is a much better maneuver. Obviously, what he did to Swerve Strickland on Dynamite. Sorry, my phone going off really just broke me up there. Anyway, yeah, so again, overall, very fun match. As for the show overall, I think it's kind of hard. I don't think this was as good as Wrestle Kingdom, unfortunately. I think Wrestle Kingdom was a better overall show. I liked more of the matches spread across there. There were great matches on this one, but there were also matches like, like the women's match at the beginning was good, but okay, they win the International Cup, but what does that grant you exactly? Like, you win the G1 Climax, you get this. You win this, you get this. Does this guarantee a title shot? Same with the CML Gauntlet match. Are any of these guys going to get a CMLL title shot? You would think that, but maybe not. So yeah, just those felt a little too tacked on. Other than that, I think trying to think of the other one. The Triple Threat Tag match was, again, kind of bizarre. It's not bad, but just, again, if you have this vacant, why not have a New Japan team win it? Again, why have the Young Bucks do it and then, promise to not visit New Japan again for a long time? Yeah, again, it seems like you just did that for maybe some type of online buzz. But like I said, overall, this was still a very enjoyable show. It's like, again, none of the matches were really bad, just kind of confusing. And again, maybe the fact that you had a big show followed by another big show, which is then followed by yet another big show, 3-day span, because they have New Year's Dash after this, and then there's Showdown in the Valley, which is a week after all that. So, maybe take a bit of a breather, guys. Just a little bit. Yeah, I know this probably has a bit more to do with silly American not understanding Japanese culture entirely. So I don't want to completely poo-poo it, but just there's kind of a maybe dial things back just a little bit, and let some of these guys maybe not work 2 shows in a row, so that maybe a title change does actually feel like it means something. Yeah. So again, there's just that kind of confusing edge to it. Overall, like I said, it's still very enjoyable. It's still a lot of fun to watch. I'm going to be giving Wrestle Dynasty a B. Like I said, I don't think I can go full perfect like I did Wrestle Kingdom, but yeah, a B is still a very good grade. Okay, so the next video is going to be the wildcard round predictions video. Then hopefully, Agatha all along, again, things have gotten busy. I haven't had time. I've gotten the first couple of episodes watched. That was on Friday, and I haven't been able to get to the others. So hopefully I can get that done and up soon. That's probably going to be up, I'm going to say Sunday at the earliest now. I had intended for it to maybe be up earlier, but right now I'm thinking Sunday, maybe Monday. And then we'll have another football predictions video, and then the random trade review. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember, you can help me expand my professional wrestling coverage by supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/SleepyTimeForCat Productions. Also, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.